Welcome back, everyone, to the Fresh Take Cinema Show. However, welcome back to the
Welcome.
first edition of Retro Review. Retro
Dun dun
Review. Retro Review.
dun.
Did my own. Yeah, I was say I did my own echo.
Yeah, I had your back, bro.
I appreciate you.
Nationwide is
I
on your
am
side, baby.
nationwide is on your
So yeah,
side.
hi hi hi. Peyton Manning can't do that.
I am. No, he can't. You can't touch
Nope.
this, Peyton. Can't touch this. But I am your co-host, Kyler.
It's your main man, Kanash. What's happening, big dog?
Not much. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm chilling, man. Feeling good. Having a good day. What's going on with you?
It's all that matters. No, it's a tough day a little bit. I had to recover from yesterday work-wise, but we are back at it again with another episode.
Again.
But like we said, it is our first edition of Retro Review. With Retro Review, what we wanted to do was basically um, have a different segment from our normal movie reviews where we do go back and review some, older cinema. Of course, that we never got to review before, that we really enjoy mutually, and hopefully, if this thing really takes off, we can kind of do maybe you guys decide, you guys get to vote. We do like a poll or something on social media. So, if you guys participate, and that's something that we can look into doing. But we wanted to do the first episode. We definitely wanted to just Kanash and I talk about what movies really got us into falling in love with cinema. So we thought that would be a
Yeah.
great first edition, a great first session, before we do an actual retro review. So, um, Kanash, what? Tell me a little bit, brethren. Tell me a little bit
Rich.
of your love of cinema. Tell me a little bit about that.
Um, I was actually really excited to talk about it, man, because it was I had to think about it myself, and I think it goes even back to adolescence. We're talking
Hmm.
elementary, um, watching stories with your grandma, and you got your scheduled shows and whatnot that you watch from Young
Ah,
and the Restless and all of that. Like
yeah,
if
Judge Judy.
if Victor Newman is not Superman in a suit, I don't know who is. He's indestructible. He is
Indestructible.
indestructible. But
Indestructible.
yeah, and getting caught up in those worlds, man, was always something else. And it was a time largely where my family would get together. And if it wasn't for that, it's usually around a meal watching something, usually a movie, um, which goes into the 90s because I'm still in elementary. So you got all your black cult classics, which were obviously huge. Your Soul Foods, your Brothers, your Best Man's, Boys in the Hoods, Fridays. Like we watched those
Yeah.
all the time. I still know them word for word. Boomerang, Booty Call, which is my one is in my top five list of all time.
That's what I
And
say. Well, that's one of your favorites.
it probably shouldn't be, but it is.
Only person I know where Booty Call is in their top five. Only
Absolutely in my
person
top
I
five. And
know.
I implore you, my good friend, to go watch that now with your adult eyes and tell me that you will not laugh your ass off.
Oh, it's
It is
absolutely
it
hilarious.
is ridiculously funny. Even
It's
more so
absolutely
now as
hilarious.
adult because I know what's going on now.
So, quick sidebar. Did you know that during shooting that Tommy Lee Davis and Jamie Foxx had like some tension
Yeah,
shooting
not
that movie?
until actually recently, like within the last 5 years, I think I've like read it
I sang for
somewhere.
me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Saw it
I've
on
read it
YouTube and I was
somewhere.
like, how do you shoot a comedy and you got tension with like the main person you're acting with? Like that's
Hey,
true acting.
sometimes when you making a masterpiece, apparently well, Pippen don't like Jordan. We just found that out. So hey,
Threw me for a loop. Can you imagine like us having this chemistry while we shooting, and then as soon as we start recording, we just like, you bastard, I can't stand you. I'll talk to you
Mother,
next week.
motherfucker. All right, brother. Catch you next time.
I could, I just could not imagine that. Like
It's
we have a
crazy.
great
Like,
chemistry, and then as soon as somebody say cut, we just ready to swing at each other like at any moment.
you know
Like
what? I hate when he talks every time.
if you don't get out, if you don't get out my face,
I,
ooh, 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 if this nigga
you,
wasn't paying good,
I
I'd
don't
fight
like him. I really don't like him.
you.
But nah, yeah,
That's just
that's
nuts.
a absolutely crazy dynamic. But they pulled it off, and for my sake,
Yeah.
I'm glad they did. It's severely nostalgic. I remember it was actually another cousins of my favorite movie who's deceased, so they kind of just even adds to it. But I don't know, man. It's just all of it adds up, and then you get to your superhero movies, and then you kind of grow up with them, and yeah, you start to understand a little bit more about the perspective of movies and what that means. You dive into the characters and the scores and the music that come along with it, and so and I'm very drawn to the visual art, so it all just kind of
Yeah.
really gets me excited every time to watch and experience something new. Um, and I think it's a learning experience every time. I try to take something away from everything, really look at it, no matter what it is, and not even visually that, but especially for sake of topic. But yeah, man, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with some of what you said. For me, more of the '90s was the TV shows for the Black culture
Mm.
was just like you have no idea how happy I am that Martin is on HBO Max now because I'm paying for too many subscriptions as is, and as much as I love BET, I was like, just can't
Don't
do
make the
it.
cut. I'm sorry, it
Uh,
doesn't make the cut.
I was like, don't make the cut. Um, so to have Martin on HBO Max is just, I'm so
It's a
elated. So
classic. It's still funny today.
absolutely, like it's weird to think about it now. Where as a kid, I was laughing at that show. My all-time, no one will ever. I don't care what they come out with. No one will ever touch my number one favorite TV show of all time, which is Living Single. No one will ever top that show for
That's
me.
it's an amazing
Like
show. It's pretty
it's
good.
an amazing show. No one will ever top that show for me. And to think that's my all-time favorite show because I saw it as a kid, which it's weird because as a kid, I don't understand
Yeah, but it's just
95%.
yeah, it's just entertaining to you for
Right,
whatever reason. You just happen to be drawn to
right.
it.
It's like crazy to think about now as an adult. I've watched it all the way through hundreds of times and I understand the show better now. But it's like as a kid, this was my favorite, one of my favorite shows to watch when I could catch it. And I didn't understand like over half the stuff they were talking about, but it sat with me and it's never
Hmm.
left me. So I would say on the TV show aspect, that's where my love for just shows in general started was the '90s with our Black culture shows and then '90s cartoons was
Oh,
man
amazing, legendary. Not to
hot
mention
streak
like
of
Power Rangers and all that.
yeah. So that's where it really started because that was like you said, when I would stay with my mom who used to watch me, she would just let us watch our list of TV shows. If I wasn't watching Judge Judy or Judge Mathis with her, um,
You know, Judge Judy is
um,
still kicking,
oh, she got a new show.
still getting
She's
that paper.
knocking it out the park. She is still getting her cheese. Like Judge Judy gonna be paid to the day she leaves this earth. But I just remember sitting on the floor right in front of the TV and just getting lost in those shows. And even just shows where I did learn, out of the box, Bear in the Big Blue House, Rocket Power, um,
Oh,
you
Rocket
know,
Power. Hey Arnold.
one of the shows that I think was way way ahead of its time. Batman the animated series, things like that,
Mm.
just it just captivated me, um, and led into my love for actual movies. And then I have a list along with the years that they came out. But I just kind of thought about, like, for me, where I think it started for me, my love, because it was different from what I had seen, and I think it was the same for everybody. Toy Story, which came out in 1995.
Oh,
I was born
dog.
1993, so Toy Story for me changed a lot, changed everything really, because it was just us kids, we never see anything like that,
Yes, I
and
go ahead. Yeah, tell me why, because I'm interested. Because yeah, it
to
was on my list
have
as yours. I saw your story and I saw it. Yeah, nigga. Yeah, nigga.
to have to be two at the time, to see it maybe at two or a little bit later, to see that, and the concept of that movie was about toys coming to life and having that imagination as a kid where I'm playing with my toys. To me, my toys, that just blew my mind as a kid. And then to see, like you said, the visual effects and how they just, it looked at that time,
It it
which
it
Toy
looked.
Story still technically holds up to this to now, even though they're
Oh,
they're
it was the first of
recent
its kind.
movies, right? Even though the
Absolutely,
recent movies look even more real, it's still the original Toy Story still holds up.
without
So it
question.
just blew my mind as a kid to look at that and like, man, that looks almost real. Um, and it was game changing for me. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, it was really game changer for me. What, and I know
And
you say you had something to add.
and similarly for that very point, because I'm around in '95. I'm like 6, 7 ish. I'm starting elementary school, so like I'm playing with action figures and stuff. And of course, you
Yeah,
make your own little world and your own little scenarios. And like I remember thinking, I wonder, like, because when you're imagining it, even when I'm playing, I'm really putting these the powers or the scenarios inside of these things. So I've tried to put myself in the position of the action figure at some point in order to play out
right.
whatever scenario is going on in my head. So like it's always played in the back of my mind. So when Toy Story came out, I'm like, knew it. I knew it.
And all the kids across the world, man, was trying to
I'm
peek around
yes.
the corner of their bedroom, like they about
Dog,
to
and now that I think
the
about it, I think it
fly.
gave me anxiety because I didn't know if they was because I realized I'd probably done some not seemly things to these toys sometimes. He's gonna get some of Sid's toys.
Bruh,
Uh,
like, but I remember, like, really, that movie had me so engulfed in it that I would stare at my toys and like, I wonder if y'all really
I,
do come alive when I'm not
yes,
around. And I
and
would purposely at that point leave my toys out just to see if they would move. And I love that my imagination at that time was so pure.
even ironically
And
now as an adult, like they have a I've thought about it about like food, and then like Sausage Party comes out, and it's the same
bruh,
type
I
of
love that
premise,
movie.
and like that's like a real thing. Like there's books and science that's been written about it, like the plant paradox or something like that. But like that as a concept is really really fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. And just to think that movie, what it did for me at that age, and then to now be a dad, and my daughter's about to be 3, and she loves Toy Story. Now, it's Mickey Mouse. If she has to choose who's top dog in Disney, it's absolutely the mouse. But the way she lights up when she sees Toy Story, it
Yeah, not in
just
my
it
house.
yeah, it warms me up, just to see that, because I'm like, I remember of like the first time I saw that and how much it changed my love for movies. And then now my daughter's getting into it, she loves Toy Story, and that's because I like sat her down. Now I did it backwards. I did Toy Story 4, and then went back to 1 and had her watch those, and she loves it. So it definitely, that
Man, it's
was
got to be
that was
special.
the
That probably
start.
feels good. Yeah, man.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's nothing like, um for at least for the Disney side, because it's so easily available. It's nothing like going back and showing your kids the movies you used to watch as a kid and the TV shows, and then they get attached to it. It's nothing like it. This is nothing like it. So
Yeah, that's super dope.
I'm not winning too much on the shows. I tried Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and she was just kind of like she knew who they were. She loved Chippendale Rescue Rangers. You know, Chippendale from the Mickey Mouse TV shows
Yeah,
that are on now. She was just kind of like, all
I ain't
right,
with it.
all right.
I
I'm
ain't
not
with
really
it.
with it. So I'm still working on it. I haven't had too much success, but what
Nah,
are
that's
some
dope though.
what are some other movies for you that like give me like your big hitters that change things for you?
So still in elementary, I would say some of the heavy hitters that like so outside of booty call, and I think that was just because we're young, we're impressionable, like we like
Yeah,
girls and like
and it's Jamie
I
Foxx.
remember, yeah. I mean, well, that was before he was Jamie Foxx, but like the movie is about sex, and like that's the thing. One of the things is like starting to pop on my mind, like you know what I'm saying. And so like
Yeah,
obviously we're sex crazed, nasty little deviant boys. So like
nasty.
any movie that show a titty, anything,
We in it.
we boy,
We in
we'll
there.
and we will rewind that same titty. The time and time, time and time, time
Just
and time
over
again. Just
and
that, yeah,
over. Kids
that
don't know
same
how
thing.
easy they had with that little remote because it was VCR back in them days.
I'm telling you,
And
you would
you
rewind
couldn't rewind too
that.
much because you was gonna ruin that tape.
You know, so you only got a good 68 rewinds, nigga, and you got to use them wisely. Because you know
Have
you
you
ain't
ever
supposed to be
ruined the
watching this
tape?
anyway.
Have you ever ruined the tape?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh,
Or
I
like you
was
have an old
devastated.
VCR and it like ruins the tape, like it gets scrambled
Oh,
on the inside. Dog, like
bro,
you don't know how many
Mighty,
VCRs I've taken apart to try to salvage one or the other. Like one of y'all got to
give me
make
my
the
tape
tape
back.
or
Give me
the
my,
tape or the VCR. Come
give me my
on,
tape
brother.
back. Yo, I remember when I had Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie on VCR, and that
With the
VCR ate
ooze.
my tape. Yes, with
Ooh,
Ivan Ooze, and it
ooh.
ate my tape, and that my you would have thought that my mama died. I was devastated, and my mom was just like, "I can buy another one," but I was just because I was like, "But I'm not gonna be able to watch it tonight or tomorrow."
And
I
I
was
want to watch it right now, and you
she
don't
was
understand. I don't think
bro, I
they
was
don't
so
understand, bro.
kids got kids got it so made with just the remote down and I mean Wi-Fi go down, you screwed, but I mean
That's the one
just
thing.
that
Then that's the only thing
VCR
we got. But we would watch
was so
things
fun. You
religiously.
got a handful of rewinds and then that thing gonna cut out
Done
on
for, bro. But like movies like that, of course, The Last Dragon. I think that was the first movie that I can remember seeing like the like a black karate master type guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Bruce
I
Lee
got
boy.
yeah I got so actually I got Toy Story for Christmas one year. I got Last Dragon for Christmas one year. Jingle All the Way, which is one of my
One of
favorite
my favorite Christmas
Christmas
movies.
movies easily.
Yes.
All these movies I
Yes.
got for Christmas, and all of them were staples in my childhood growing up for obvious, for well, not obvious, but for different reasons. And the ways the character was portrayed, I think now looking back, I could see myself in pieces of all of these people, and I couldn't. They were doing things or saying things that I couldn't necessarily vocalize at the time. Like Liar Liar was one of my favorite movies. It's still one of my favorite movies of all time. It's top 15. It's top 15. It's had to get pushed back, but it's top 15.
This is why we have this show together. Liar
Dog.
Liar is
What's it gonna be? A pop rock congratulations. Don't ask. For God's sakes, don't ask. Like I know, like I'm talking. I know these things word for word, like all of the characters. Like
when I tell you, if I see a blue pen, I'm dying
the pen is
laughing.
blue.
The pen is the God pen is blue.
Blue.
What he said, write it off, break it off.
Right. Nah, then the pen turned on him. It's his hand. Dog, like what's happening right now?
Yo, I get dragged for this because it's an unpopular opinion, and I don't know what it is about Ace Ventura, but I tell people Liar Liar
Oh,
is 10 times better than Ace Ventura 1 and 2 put together, and I
so
get dragged for that because
so
I don't
so
know if it's just people really love Ace Ventura that much, but I'm like Liar Liar absolutely is way better than the two of them combined.
so slow your roll, my good brethren. On
No,
the
don't get
two
me wrong.
on the two combined is the only. I think it's a better movie. I think it stands alone. I think it stands the test of time way better. I think anybody now would probably, well, not anybody. I think most people would probably be Liar Liar is more of a family movie. But Ace Venturas are very good, especially the
Oh,
first
I'm
one.
not trashing them. I'm
Especially the
not
first one.
trashing them. I'm just saying Liar Liar to me was that great. I'm not trashing Ace Ventura
Yeah,
because the
but
second one is absolutely hilarious. But let me ask you this: if you had to choose between Ace Ventura 1 and 2 or Liar Liar, and either one you have to watch for the rest of your life, are you
oh,
taking
Liar
Ace
Liar,
Ventura
it's easy
series?
Liar Liar for
That's
me.
it. That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah,
all
but
I'm
like I
saying.
related to the character. Like
That's all I'm
I could,
saying,
I could, I could, I could feel Max. You feel me?
bro.
So
Oh,
yeah, it meant something else to me. I've watched that movie all the time, bro, all the
that hit me
time.
what you said. That hit me
Yeah,
what you
like,
said.
but even outside of that, the entertainment factor of it, like, was still Jim Carrey is great.
Yeah,
Is great. His comedy is
yeah.
unmatched. The way he
I
portrays his characters is unmatched. I don't think he's like one of those one on ones type people.
Jim Carrey is when it comes to comedic actors, top five, absolutely, top five for sure.
Especially the white ones.
But is it funny? I have a separate list. I have a top five black comedians and a top five white comedians. I have a separate list because
See, you the problem. See,
it
you the problem.
just
I thought we trying to be inclusive.
we are together, but it's just everybody can't fit on one list. Let's say it
Yeah,
that
see,
way.
yeah. Sometimes it seems like the
Everybody
playing
can't fit on
field is
one list.
different. So like I
Everybody
feel
can't.
you.
But um, for me, what I noticed kind of going back, and then I'll get to all my movies, but something I noticed just kind of looking over all of the movies that I had listed, that have really had an impact on me. Um, I'm a franchise, like a movie franchise guy, and I didn't really think about that.
Oh, like you'll stick
Um,
with something, roll it
like
out.
the movie franchises really like did a number on me. Like they have a huge impact. So, um, I'm gonna save the most impactful one for last. But Back to the Future was just that concept of going. Back to the Future. Even though it's before my time, when I first watched that, I was in it. Even though Part Three is not really my favorite. But it really was a great concept, and then it just was big. Back to the Future in the '80s was just a big
No, it was
deal.
a hit movie.
So for me to yeah,
Shame to say, I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through.
one which like none of them, or
None of them. Yeah, don't slay me, but yeah, none of them.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. It's
I
not for
appreciate
everybody. I understand, but I like. For me, the reason why it impacted me is because I like time travel movies. I
Yeah.
think time travel movies, if done right, can be pretty funny, entertaining. That's why I
No,
love Hot Tub Time Machine.
I think it's a fascinating concept.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Hot Tub Time Machine is one of my favorite time travel movies. Hilarious. So the fact that they did it, you know, in a different way at that time. Time travel movies at that time were all all kind of done the same a little bit. So
Hmm.
to have it where he time travels and is in the same time realm as his teenage mom, his mom and dad as a teenager and stuff like that, it was pretty cool. And then to just carry the story on the way they did, I thought that was pretty dope for me seeing it at a young age. I think I saw it like I think early 2000s. I was still young, so it's just
Okay. Would you
it
say it's
stuck.
worth worth to go back? Is it worth to go back and look?
Yeah, you honestly, if you want to keep going, you could watch part three because they it's basically Back to the Future Part One, Part Two, Part Three. So it's a three movie series. It's a three-part movie situation,
Mhm.
but I really stop at two. Now, the first time I did watch three just to complete the story, but for me, I can stop at two and be okay with it. Two is my favorite. Two is my absolute favorite out of all three. Um, but they're, not a bad sit down to watch all three or do something
I
like
might
that.
think about it.
It
Yeah, I
won't
mean, I
it won't
like
waste your time to
I
say it that way.
one another thing I just like knowing the or being aware of like the pop culture references and things like that. A lot of these things have become
Right,
like embedded into the culture, like it's a part of
right,
kind of knowing what's going on.
right.
So like I'm pretty sure there's some references in there that I don't know. So maybe for that purpose, I'll slide back through. But like because I
I think it
recognize how
was
big it was, definitely. So I wanna put some respect on its name. But
for me, and I'm not ruining anything. For me, because I mean the movie's how old. So
I
for
mean,
me, the second is my favorite because they go to the future. They finally go to the future because it was called Back to the Future, and the first one they went into the past, so you were kind of like scratching your head. So they go to the future in part two, then they go back to the same scene of the first movie, and then they also go into an alternate reality. So they kind of gave us way more time travel in the movie, which I liked. Um,
is Marty
and then part
McFly
three,
the
yeah,
teenager
Marty
or
Mc,
the scientist?
yeah. So it's Doc Brown and Marty McFly. Yeah,
Was that
yeah.
his last name or is
Uh,
that like his nickname?
no, he Dr. Brown. He's a scientist. So he Marty the whole movie called him Doc, but it was Doc. It was like Doc Brown.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, the second was my favorite because there was more time travel and alternate reality. So it was
Right, and they kind of made the
pretty
DeLorean
good.
famous, and no, so
Yeah, yeah,
I put some respect on
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Another one is Lord of the Rings. Um,
Mm.
that like
Story wise, I
I'm
think
a
that helped things like dive deep.
like yeah, and I think and that was my first like true exposure to just like 3 hour long movies. Like each
Titanic.
one like right, but I really didn't watch Titanic all the way through.
Okay.
I didn't
Okay.
watch Titanic all the way through until like way later. I had just kind of seen and knew the big scenes of it. Like I had watched, of course, the sinking and all that. I watched that, but like from legit beginning to end, it took me a long time to watch that, and I still don't remember like beginning to end what happens.
Of
But
Titanic.
Lord of the
That's
Rings,
crazy.
no, I'm not dogging Titanic. I'm just saying like I just don't remember
No, I
the
feel
because
you.
I Titanic's not a movie I've gone back and watched. Like for some odd reason, you don't really see Titanic on TV showing up like that often.
Not anymore.
Which yeah,
It
it used to, but you just don't
yeah,
see it
it
as
used to
I
be
guess
it
as it
used
is.
to be like one of them TNT cinema nights.
Yeah, yeah. So you just don't see it that often. So I haven't really gone back to watch that. That's why I mean I really haven't. Um, I have no recollection of like the whole beginning to end. But Lord of the Rings just like that just like blew my mind. One, just being the nerd that I am, and I love that type of stuff that
That sci-fi,
it's
yeah, other
almost like
world.
it's almost like it's medieval, but it's not. I just like that type of stuff. And then I felt like it was a good amount of action to it. Like they had just great, memorable scenes, but then
Yes.
just the story itself, you were just like they're on this quest
I
to
mean,
destroy
it's your
this ring.
yeah, it's your
And
classic
you're like,
hero
I'm here
journey.
for all of it. Like I'm
Yeah,
here for all of it.
yeah.
Action, dialogue, everything. I'm here for the whole thing because the
I'm on the
story
journey.
was,
I'm on the journey. Yeah,
yeah, the
I've
story
got to
was
go.
simple. Like this, I've
I
gotta
got to
go.
go.
Yeah, so it just that story and the visual effects, and I just felt like that at that point in time was a game changer. I feel like that was a movie that changed how Hollywood did movies. It was just that big, really that big. And then I'm gonna pause, and I want you to get some of yours in because I'm really curious. I know I sent you my list just so you have a glance, but I'm really curious to see some of yours. Then I'll finish mine up.
Yeah, I just have a few other honorable mentions, man, that I can like just off top remember, like either like where I was when I seen them or like remember them having like a lasting effect. And on the horror film side, have you ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yes,
Brother,
yes,
like I'm not like a horror
messes you up.
film junkie, but I do enjoy them. I will go see them. I go to haunted houses and all of that. And I've never really been one like I think everybody's had a bad dream or two, so it's not even that. But like I usually can shake it off. I've never really had like a. But when I seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for whatever reason, I could not get this nigga off my mind. Bro, and I remember
Yeah,
seeing it
it'll
like
mess you up.
I think I was like
It's the different
13.
faces, isn't it?
Yes. I think I was like 13, and I remember sleeping on my mama's floor for like 2 days. Just let me sit in here and be comfortable with you. Like, it's something about mama that brings comfort. And I let her know,
That's
like,
hilarious.
I ain't no punk about it, but like, I'm still go to sleep. But I remember in as an adult looking back on it, thinking how visceral the scenes were, how well the
Yeah,
acting was, and the emotions that they portrayed, and running, and how the scenes were shot, and where they decided to put the
yeah.
lighting, and how the story was kind of mixed with, and how it started off like really freaky, and then they dove into the trip, and you meet this family. And so just looking at it with different eyes now, I can kind of see a little bit. And also, like, we also had like a weird neighbor with a weird truck who had just moved in. It was,
It's Leatherface.
is this a descendant? Are you the grandson, my nigga? I don't know. I don't know how y'all get out. Because they said they never caught him. That's all I'm
Hilarious.
saying. That's all I'm saying. But like that, like you said, Toy Story. I think Dark Knight was the one. As far as like superhero movies, I think that's the one that really that changed Hollywood. I don't know if it did as much for it visually as Lord of the Rings or even like a Harry Potter series for per se, something like that. But like as far as the superhero game goes, as far as how the story is written, typical good guy. They don't show a superhero emotional struggle or anything like that. I think that was the
Right.
game changer there. Because going from the '90s, my favorite Batman was the George Clooney joint with Arnold.
That gets dogged.
I
And
love that
I
movie.
love that. I love that version.
That was my favorite one up until Dark Knight.
I this is just crazy how much we are on the same side of that was my favorite as well. And I think as a kid when you see something that's your favorite, even as an adult, it's still gonna be your favorite,
Yeah,
even
it's hard to
though
take it down.
people
Yeah.
that it's hard to take it down. And I watching as an adult now, I can understand why people thought it was horrible. Because it didn't hold up to Michael Keaton's Batman movies. It didn't hold up, which I agree. Those
I
Batman
know.
movies were amazing.
I
Those
do
Batman
not.
movies were amazing. And I think, but you have to look at it differently. George Clooney's Batman and Robin was a different type of a Batman and Robin movie.
Yeah,
Um,
it was a collaboration because that had Poison
so,
Ivy, had
yeah,
Robin,
it wasn't
had
like it
Mr.
was trying
Freeze.
to be. Yeah, it wasn't trying to be like Tim Burton's versions that he did with Batman
No,
and Batman.
I
It
do
wasn't
agree they
that.
were trying to do it. They were trying to go in a different direction. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they, tried to do something new and people just crapped on it and that's why they haven't made a Batman movie like that since. Um, but no, Dark Knight for sure that was on my list. That Already Batman being my favorite superhero, that has not been topped, and that was made in 2008, and no superhero movie has been able to come close to that. I know people, even including myself, with Avengers Endgame and Tony Stark dying and everything. That was super emotional, but that was a culmination of a lot of movies, and it's still no Marvel movie that's been made, no DC movie that's been made since has touched Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises was came kind of close.
Dark Knight
And I'm
Rises
not saying Dark
is
Knight
still
Rises.
exceptional in its own way. It's
Oh,
it's
it's
not it's not
absolutely,
Dark Knight though,
but it's
but
it's not Dark Knight.
I think I think like Avengers and even Avatar is I think they're as good as Dark Knight, but in different ways.
Mhm.
It's hard for me to say that they surpassed them, even though like box office wise they both did. But
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, but as far as like the way the actual movie was made and how they wanted to portray the superheroes conceptually, I think Dark Knight was kind of stands alone in that. And now what I will give you is that Joker is probably the best villain of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Heath Ledger
Oh,
playing Joker is
absolutely.
probably almost bar none. I can think of Jack Nicholson as Joker was pretty good. Um,
His was just a little too
it was pretty
coaxy.
good. It was pretty.
It was good.
It was
I don't take it
kooky.
away.
It was
It was a
kooky.
little like, okay,
It was kooky, but it was pretty good. Who else had a good villain? Um,
man, you
I
got me
don't.
thinking about this now.
Yeah, there's not too many that like hold a candle in that regard. Um, Other than like Thanos and stuff like that. But I'm talking about like, well, I guess more, well, not even more human aspects. So I guess Thanos could go in there, but but yeah, bar none, that movie, Dark Knight, Joker, Heath Ledger, that is, I think that's 60% of what makes it so great. I think.
I got some villains for you. Um,
Shoot,
Sauron from Lord of the Rings, the main, the
I think
the
he
the
gets a
evil,
strong
the
honorable
eye.
mention. Strong honorable
Yes.
mention. Yes.
Now my heavy hitter that is up there for me, Voldemort from Harry Potter.
He was mysterious and scary and okay, I can. He wasn't crazy though. Like Joker was
He wasn't
crazy.
he wasn't crazy, but if you follow those movies from beginning to end and see the before Dude could be fully reincarnated, see the rise, the uprise that he had, the darkness that slowly takes over each movie, each Harry Potter movie they have, and then completely just turns everything around
Yeah, so
towards
I
towards the
I
end.
I read the first book back in the day. I remember reading that in middle school, and then I did see the first couple movies, but I fell off the Harry Potter train maybe around movie three. So I don't even know what happened at the end of that. So to even
That's
give him credit like that, but
that's
I guess
another
I can
movie
see that.
franchise. That's another movie franchise that um impacted my love for
Oh,
cinema.
that was one that did it for you.
So yeah, because Harry Potter, that was something that me and my brother were into together. So we went and saw.
The bonding,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, we went and saw every movie together. Literally every movie we watched the first time together. Um, and they were great. Like that, telling that story, even though it's technically seven movies, but the seventh was done in two parts, so it's eight movies. It told a great story. The the tones that each movie had was different, but it was still a piece of the story. Was
Hmm.
just
No,
brilliant,
it was brilliantly,
brilliantly
brilliantly.
written,
Absolutely, I'll give you that. I do know
visually
that from what I did see.
visually beautiful, visually beautiful. You know, Harry Potter as a main character was just amazing. because you grew up with the character.
Yeah.
That is a different type of character development. Like we met this dude as a kid, as a youth, and then
And saw
by the
him
time
get drafted to the school, Boulder,
right,
yeah, all of that.
by the time you get to end the movie,
Gryffindor.
by the time you get to end the movie, he's a grown man trying to save the wizarding world. Like that's character development, that's character growth. And the reason why I think it affected me, it affected my love for cinema was because Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter were book based first.
Yes.
And to definitely for sure, because I don't really hear a whole lot about Lord of the Rings books, but absolutely hear, like you just mentioned, like everyone talks about, oh, I read the books. I just, fell off of the movies or whatever. But people that read the books and also watched all the movies absolutely love it. It wasn't like they read the book, saw the movie, and was like, "Oh, well, they messed this up," or "It's the
Oh
movies
yeah,
are trash."
yeah. I'm never
They
one to make that
absolutely,
type of distinction. I
they
actually still kind of
absolutely
like
adore
making
the
that
movies.
contrast. Yeah. So no, I
Yeah,
feel you.
they absolutely adore the movie. So it was like to see that, and there's been so many movies now that were made from a book or made from a video game, and they absolutely get destroyed because they just don't do a good job of translating translating that stuff. That was beautifully done. And that is something. I could watch Harry Potter every week. I could watch
It's a good
Harry
series.
Potter every
Now
week.
that I think I will go back and finish. I probably just need to go ahead and give it a whole little run through. So I may do that, but yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I went on HBO Max for Halloween, and I didn't even really watch any scary movies like that because I was like, I want to go back and watch Harry Potter, because like I said, me and my brother would go watch them together, and
Hmm.
then I never really went back and watched it again, like all the way fully through. So I did that over the course of October, and just really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed just kind of, because there was some stuff I forgot about, I missed. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, I forgot
Yeah,
how
you can
this
see.
how this plays
I
out.
love that aspect of it,
Yeah,
seeing it with with new
so it was
eyes again.
absolutely dope. Now my last franchise that just this is the biggest impact on me
Hmm.
is Star Wars. Star Wars has had the biggest impact on my love for cinema. Biggest impact. And I want to give them a shout out, because to be a movie franchise that has literally had a movie in every decade since the 70s is just
It's
that's
exceptional. It's exceptional.
like I can't even find a word to give them for, like, to have a movie in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s,
And
and
now
I think
2020.
they're about to have I think they're slated to have some more movies coming out.
It's so many perspectives
It's
that you can bring from that, and as technology gets better, it's just going to be a better way to show it. So like it's something going to be rich forever.
Yeah, and um it's recently added to my love of just the cinema world because of the Mandalorian. You know, that Star Wars, you know, gave us all these movies for all these years, and then now they're giving us these just and they have been giving us TV shows for a minute, but Mandalorian is just on a different level. I don't know if you've watched it, but
I watched. Doesn't it have two seasons?
yes,
I think I watched half of season one, and I did like it because I never got into Star Wars like that. I think I've seen a couple of the later movies, and they are really good. But I am very familiar with the story, and the story I like. For whatever reason, I just didn't gravitate towards it back in the day. But like the last few Star Trek movies have been really good. I really
yeah,
enjoyed those. I think that's a series that's almost kind of comparable to that, as far as just like space exploration, concept of time
yeah.
travel, and things like that. And I find myself being drawn to those types of movies as well.
The reason I say Mandalorian is on a whole nother level, one for just the way it looks, just how they do things, and then they have a different director every episode, and for that
To
to
purposely
happen,
shift that, yeah.
and you can tell everyone has a different directing style, but it works. It's like because they're even
Keeps it
though
fresh.
even though each episode is a different perspective, it's still telling one story,
Same
and
story, yeah.
it's amazing how they do it. And then just they've changed how stuff is shot. Like if you, I'll try to find the video, but there's literally how they shoot the Mandalorian is just insane, and it's super expensive. If I told you their
Of course.
budget, oh my
Is that
god.
on Disney Plus?
But
Because I would like to see that.
yeah, yeah,
They show like the
yeah,
making of it. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah. They have some behind the scene stuff for the Mandalorian, and it will blow your mind. Just that's why I said they're on a whole nother level.
A whole nother level.
They're on a whole nother level, and that's why my love and appreciation runs deep. And then also that is something that my dad introduced to me and my brother.
Mm.
uh,
So it's kind of something
you know
passed on. It's another
it,
like a bond of sorts. Yeah.
and because our taste for movies and everything is kind of different, all three of us don't always have the same movies that we gravitate towards. So the fact that Star Wars is something that we all commonly love and we love watching those movies together, that does add to it, for sure. And I think that's what you were basically kind of alluding to in the beginning was not only do the movies captivate us, but it's the who you watch it with, what type of movie it is,
Absolutely.
and
Those create
things like
moments.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those moments make a huge difference, a huge difference. So yeah, Star Wars for sure. Star Wars for sure. Let me ask you this though.
Yes, sir.
Um, who would you say is your favorite actor?
So I've never boiled it down like that. I have my handful of greats that like if they're in it, then I'll go see it. Leonardo DiCaprio, Will Smith, Jamie,
Are
Jamie
are we
Foxx.
twins?
I mean, these are people I'm absolutely going. Back in the day, Eddie Murphy. Um,
Oh, absolutely. Oh God, yes. Nutty Professor.
Absolutely. Norbit.
Yo, Norbit gets trashed on, and
I don't
I
care what
that's a guilty
nobody
pleasure
got
movie.
to say.
That's a guilty pleasure
That is
movie.
a
If Norbit's
classic
on,
Eddie
I'm
Murphy
watching
film.
it. Yeah, if Norbit's on, I'm watching it. I'm sorry.
Go
Now I know
Norbit.
that
Go Norbit.
now now I know Norbit made Eddie Murphy take a break from movies, but that movie just does
I
it for
care
me.
not. That is a gem, and people need to
That
give it its
does-
just due. Um,
But Will Smith is my all-time love Leo. That's my guy. Love Leo. But Will Smith, I did the two movies that for me, even though I love a lot of his movies,
mhm.
the two movies for me that like just made me really look at acting, like just really looking at it and just kind of going, wow, like the effort that they put into these roles. Ali and I Am Legend.
Yes.
Those
Um,
like
yes. I would say for
Ali,
Pursuit of Happiness.
yes, but Ali is one of my favorite whether autobiography movies or biography
Yeah.
movies. Um that it's up
Biopic.
there for yeah, it's up there for it's top three for my favorites to watch.
Yeah, if
Um
we talking about biopics, now quality wise, this doesn't it, but this was on your list. But Temptations, we talking about biopics. Temptations, I think that's top five easily, damn near top three if we talking biopics.
yeah,
Like, there's not too many
Temptations.
better than Temptations.
Temptations, and I think the reason for me that added to my love for cinema was because the cultural impact.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
black, all black, the whole
to
thing. Even
this
as a youngin, it's
to
what we
this
see.
day to this day, kids that were born after that movie are they quote and use Temptations and memes and all that
Ain't nobody
stuff on
come to see
social
you,
media.
Otis.
Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. I mean, just that movie has that, and what's love got to do with it? That has
Oh,
done something to the black culture as far as cinema and film, and I love it. That's somebody who I think I have not appreciated enough, and I say I love him all the time, but Lawrence Fishburne
Lawrence Fishburne.
just does
Shout
not
outs
get
to my guy.
he don't
Yeah,
get the love from me. I'm not gonna talk about anybody else. He does not get enough love from me. I love that dude. If he's in a movie, I'm interested to see what he's doing.
yeah. I
Um,
don't think he's ever going to cheat whatever role he's playing, and I think if
yeah,
he's
he's
going to
gonna give
be in
it a
it,
try.
I'm gonna give it a chance.
Yeah,
He's
he's
absolutely one of those. I give you Samuel L. Jackson another
oh Sam is just
motherfucking Sam.
Sam is like in another category away from everybody else. And
I
oddly,
love Sam. He's so perfectly himself.
yeah, it's snakes on the plane is all I will say. That's
Oh
all I
my
will say.
goodness, dog. Negotiator. That's a that's a classic. Me and my grandmother used to watch that all the time. Negotiator is an amazing movie.
Yeah. Um, so what is your um all-time favorite movie?
I saw
Mine
it.
is gonna
Go
shock
ahead.
you.
Go ahead. You
No,
go.
I want to hear yours
So
first, for
I don't
sure.
have one, but I have narrowed it to three, and I give
Okay.
them all I give them all a tie. So booty call,
Okay.
of
Okay.
course, of course.
Okay. Of
Um,
course.
Avatar.
I didn't know you felt that way about Avatar. Okay.
It has everything you want, bro.
Okay.
Everything you need in a
Well, you know
movie.
that'll be on retro review coming up. Absolutely.
Everything you need in a movie. It has everything.
Okay.
And the third one has fluctuated quite a bit, but it's shifted between um, Dark Knight and Endgame,
Hmm. Okay.
which are well, Endgame kind of snuck in there here recently because I've watched it within the last couple months, and it's always like the last hour is just nonstop, just goes. It just goes,
Hmm.
bro. Like I've seen it a dozen times already. And as soon as it gets to that part where when Thor, Iron Man, and Cap are like at the thing and they see Thanos sitting there and they're like, dog, from that moment on, or even slightly before that, like when he's starting to come back,
Yeah.
it is nonstop. And it almost in that little hour and a half, you almost get everything that you want instantly again. But
Yeah.
it's another one of those ones that has everything you
Yeah.
want. But
I
the
give
top
you
three,
that one.
what's yours?
Um, it's gonna be weird just from the type of movie fan and nerd I am. Um, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which came
Cheer
out
up, Charlie.
1971,
Give me a smile.
which is crazy. I think it's unheard of to have a movie that is your absolute favorite that is that much older than you. Um, but it did something to me as a kid. It did something to me seeing that as a kid. I can't even tell you how I came up on that movie. I don't know who, because we definitely
Charlie
didn't have
fed
it. We
Charlie
didn't
fed
have
the
it on
insecurities
VHS.
of all kids all over the place.
But I love just the concept of the movie. Gene Wilder is he's an acting comedic genius. If you don't believe me, watch Young Frankenstein. Hilarious parody of Frankenstein. Hilarious.
Yeah,
Um,
that Willy Wonka, that I don't know if that'd be a match. And I like Johnny Depp, but like they keep doing it, but I don't it not nothing has touched it so far. They keep doing little weird
which
shit like that's like
which
why? But like
technically, even though I wasn't a fan, I do have to divide. So technically, Johnny Depp's movie wasn't wasn't a remake. There's two different books. There's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and then they did the movie in the 70s. And then there's Charlie and the
Charlie.
Chocolate Factory, which Johnny Depp's movie was about the other version. So that's why the storylines were a little bit more different because it's two, which I didn't know that until later because I was the person that was, oh my God, how dare they try to remake a classic like that. And then I was like, okay, so because when I watched it, I was like, the whole story's off. It ain't the same. It's like they try to change it. And then
Yeah,
I
I don't know
found
why
out
they
that
do it.
it's a
His
whole
name is Augustus
nother
Gloop.
version. I was like, it's a whole nother version. So they didn't try to remake it, but still, it was just too like it was too weird, too crazy for my
Yeah, they just
liking.
they just did something different, but like that gets an honorable mention for me as well. I remember it's very nostalgic. I can remember very vividly me and my auntie watching that a bunch of times. So definitely Charlie.
I think it's a great story, and then just how simplistic it is.
It's
It's
classic
not.
rags to riches, baby.
I think what I love about it is if I mean, we've basically seen if we did have that movie try to be done in modern times, there's too many special effects. It's just going too crazy. Where it was just so simple. It wasn't a whole lot of, crazy visual effects. It just was simple and it almost feels like, okay, this really could be a real life situation. Like this could really be a chocolate factory that a crazy man is running and there's really Oompa Loompas in here. Like it
Yeah.
really because it was so simplistic and it looked real. You kind of believed it. And then as a
Yes.
kid, I mean, it just was a great movie. That song "Pure Imagination" is a beautiful, beautiful song. But yeah, just it
Dog,
was
it's so
done to
dope that
me.
I
It
don't
was
even
done
eat
right.
chocolate.
There you go.
And I was in it the whole time.
Don't even eat chocolate. Don't
I'll
and you're
take one
in
of
it,
them soul food strips of gum though. I like to chew on some
bruh.
steak.
I was like, do you have a
Are
soul
those
food
yams?
flavor? Do I taste sweet potato?
Those are yams. I know a yam when I taste a yam.
Is that greens with Frank's red hot sauce on
Oh
top?
my goodness. Not the hot sauce, Adam. Why you got the hot sauce flavor?
Oh my god, hot sauce on greens? Oh,
Lord.
sign me up. Um,
It's when it tastes like that to let you know God is real
God is real in all
on,
caps.
on your taste buds.
Yeah, that movie has not, it's come close to being not. Dark Knight came incredibly close. But Dark Knight just fell right under SWAT 2 and has that. So two solids. Now another movie that came close was Inception, but it cracked
Yes, that's
top
another
five.
Leo movie. Yes,
Inception
absolutely.
cracked top five.
Leo movies,
Um,
Inception, and Wolf of Wall Street, bro.
yes. What is my? I am blanking right now.
And
The
Django.
movie.
Django. Oh my goodness. That performance in
It's not the
Django was
movie I'm thinking.
exceptional. You think about Leo movie?
Remnant. The Remnant.
Oh, when yes. Yes. I
Yeah.
don't care what you
Now
say.
here's
Any
the
nigga
thing.
that
That
fight
is not.
America win. You
That's
deserve
not.
a slot.
Here's the crazy thing. This I know how good it was. That's not the type of movie my mom's is into, but she enjoyed that movie. I was shocked that she actually
It
enjoyed it the
was
way she did.
shot really well. Like when he's running and the
Yes.
Indians, like you felt
Yes.
like they were behind you. Like it was really almost interactive in the way that it was filmed. That was
Yeah. It
really
was.
dope.
It was amazing. It was amazing to watch. It was absolutely amazing to watch. I love Leo. Wolf of Wall Street. Great movie. That movie makes me laugh.
That's
I
just a
know it
great
probably
performance.
shouldn't, but
No,
it's
oh, it's
it's the
hilarious.
it's hilarious.
Come
When
fuck you,
he's there.
moms.
Yo, I lost my mind when he was dancing at that wedding reception because I was like, Leo? I said, oh, he invited to the cookout. Leo invited to the cookout.
Leo, so he almost said one too many niggas in Django for him to make it, but I think he might get a pass.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest, if there was gonna be any white man in Hollywood that I was gonna entrust with that word, it'd be Leo. It'd be Leo.
That's tough. I
It'd
would
be Leo. Who else would you put in that role?
my first one I want to say Justin Timberlake because I really love his music, but kind of it is like he kind of bit off our culture a
I
little
meant,
bit.
I meant as far as acting.
I was just talking about white people, but actors.
Now you ain't gonna come for JT. That's my dude.
Yeah, come
Uh,
on. 2020 experience is an amazing piece of art.
whew, top five records for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I we got off on a side tangent. I just believe if you would have put anybody else in that role for Django, eh,
It wouldn't have worked the
no,
same.
because it's like okay, if you're gonna say it this many times, you better knock it out the
I mean,
park.
you gotta punch it.
We're flying to California. He delivered
And
that.
I need you to low key get it done on the first take. Otherwise, what are we doing here? What are we
Kill that
doing?
nigga. Can we do it again?
Cut.
That
Yeah, I
nigga
don't
take
like the
two.
way it rolled. Can I
I
kill that
didn't. I didn't.
nigga? That ain't it either. I don't like it. It went too hard on the R. Nah, bro, you gonna need to brush up. Practice at home on your mirror.
I'm just in my head picturing Leo just get out here. I
Yeah,
don't feel it.
I'm not feeling it. How are you guys? How do you guys
I'm
feel it?
not.
Can you say it for me? Because I can imagine it not feeling like maybe it doesn't feel horrible to say for white people, like,
Oh my god.
but like maybe
Yeah.
not. Like, but what if he's
But
like
I just felt like,
distraught about it?
yeah. I just feel like he was the right guy he knocked it out the park. 'Cause I truly feel like Black people was like, if you don't
Or,
perform this
or what
right.
if he was scared to say it? Like, come on, you know what? Cut, guys. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. Like, okay, let's try again. You know, I don't know. I don't
Hey,
like the way he's
he
looking
was
at
like,
me.
all right, all right. It's like, okay, I think I'm ready. All right. You you
You num 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 num. Sound like his carburetor broke.
like you trying to start your car.
You num 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 num. What's my lines? What is my lines? Somebody read it to me.
I'm in my trailer. I don't think I can do this
Yeah,
movie.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, Sylvia.
Oh my god. I
Oh
love the
man,
tangents we go. It
that
is
almost made my cheeks hurt,
hilarious.
bro. No.
So
uh,
I have one more that changed my love for cinema. Um Enter the Dragon by Bruce Lee.
mm,
Just
mm,
his and here's my thing. I can get with an action movie. I can get with a martial arts movie if it's done right.
mhm,
And I just felt like Bruce Lee's name was on it. It was done right. Sign me up.
mhm,
And that was just Enter the Dragon is just a great movie. Fist of Fury is up there too because that whole movie was great, and then that fight scene with Chuck Norris. I mean, Chuck Norris was fighting Bruce Lee. That's just when I've heard that as a kid, because people used to do the Chuck Norris jokes and how tough Chuck Norris was, and then when they were like, "Oh, he did a movie with Bruce Lee," I was like, "I have to watch. I have to see this." But I remember my dad having Enter the Dragon on VHS and just watching it and trying to, reenact the scenes and when he, broke into like their underground and let out the prisoners, he was fighting the security guards. That scene just, and then at the end when they were fighting in the mirror room, like I
yeah,
remember trying to
that's dope.
reenact those
That was
scenes.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
was dope.
remember trying to reenact the fight scenes and just being so into it and just like I love this movie, and just it added to my love for cinema. So
Absolutely.
it's crazy to look at my list of, and I'm not saying all of these are just my, they're my top 10 or top 15 or however many ever I
Yeah, no,
listed,
no, no.
but they are definitely movies that I felt like changed my view and my love for cinema in a positive way. And also a lot of these changed the game as far as cinema, period.
Absolutely. I think over time, just going back and looking on them and uh, thinking about the first time you seen it, who you were with, the time you had, what you thought then, making the comparison. Um, I think there's something really there, and how much it connects us and draws us back to life. And I really like that aspect of it. It's that sharing of perspectives. I think it's creative. I think it's one of the easiest ways that we do it, and I really
Yeah,
enjoy it.
I love it. I love it. I'm here for all of it. And I just appreciate that we still have movies being made. And, every few years or so, there's a movie that comes out or a TV show that comes out that just
Changes the
changes
game.
everything and
Yeah.
that takes it up a notch. And I love that, there are the creative juices keep flowing. There hasn't been a lack of great movies. Now, yes, there are, nowadays movies do get kind of relying on visual effects a little too much, but that doesn't take away that there are some amazing movies out there, and there's going to be some movies that will elevate the bar once again. Hopefully, Avatar 2, and I think it was what? How many more they got coming out? Is it two?
I,
And I
I
know there's a
think I
third.
think there's four. I want to say I'm
Okay,
not 100%
okay,
sure, but I
that's what
think
I
there's
wasn't
four.
sure. Yeah. So hopefully, maybe when those come out, those take everything to a whole nother level. So,
Whole nother
um,
level.
whole no, whole nother,
Nother level.
whole nother. But was there any last things you wanted to add, or some movies you may have missed, um,
Not
that you
off the
had down?
top. Not in the Yeah, not off the top as far as like animated movies. Monsters Inc. Just want to throw some great ones out there. Monsters Inc. was incredible. Soul was incredible. Inside Out is incredible. Um,
Well, I
oh
tell
my
you
goodness.
about Soul.
Hey, it's a really good movie, bro. Oh, The Cruise, in great. The Cruise is
Oh, I
dope.
love the
I
Cruise.
love The
Hey,
Cruise.
Cruise, the grandmother is she be having me in stitches. But yeah,
Dog,
that's
The
great
Incredibles,
stuff.
great cinema. Like I like it all, man. I give it all a chance. Even back to old movies, Color Purple. You can't forget about. You can't mention. You can't not say Color Purple.
We
Everybody
need to
seen Color
do
Purple and Roots.
we need to add another show. We need to do a top 10 show. We need to do top
Yeah,
tens.
or maybe like a cult classics or something. Or I mean,
We
hell,
need
we
to do
could
a
do them
top 10
all.
because we need to do a top 10 animated, top 10 black culture. We need to do, yeah, we got some top
Oh
10s
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
can,
We'll work on that. That's gonna be dope.
yeah, yeah. Um, well, guys, that
Yeah,
is going to wrap our retro review. And I want to say that this has been a great episode. I'm really excited about this. This was all Kanash's idea. We're just wanting to kick this off with our talking about our love for cinema and where it comes from and the movies and shows that added to that love. So kudos to him because this was a great time, great idea. And now we will be moving on to actually doing some retro reviews. So
yeah.
for sure, the next retro review we do will either be Avatar or Dark Knight. That'll be a discussion that we'll have just to see if we decide that or if we want to have you guys vote. Either way, we're going to be happy reviewing either one because that means we
Absolutely.
get to go back and watch them again. And, it'll be fun to watch it and then now have to review it. Oh, that's going to be fun. That's
Yeah,
going to be
I'm
fun
going
because,
into it trying to like just kind of throw out everything that I've known about it, and just kind of really watch it again with with fresh eyes and just kind of see what you come out with, man. That's always
I'm
dope.
I, I'm excited to watch and just see if I can find something nagging about it and be like, okay, do I really,
I
really
don't
love
like
this
that.
movie and it's amazing, or am I just I'm blind and ignoring the little
You're
faults?
going to it
So it'll
trying to hate
be
something.
yeah,
Oh,
it'll
look at
it'll
that light.
be
They should
it'll
have turned that off.
it'll be very interesting. So we appreciate you guys once again for rocking with us. By now, once this airs, our review for Eternals will be out. So make sure that you go and watch that if you have not. It was another good review, good episode that we have for you guys. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. And for myself and Kanash, we bid you adieu.
We
And we are
bid you
out.
adieu. Farewell.
Farewell. Go tell your mama you love her.
And brush your teeth.
Brush them dirty, rotten yellow teeth.